As you can see, we are filming the latest installment of Mission Impossible. And right now we're over gorgeous Florida Canyon in stunning South Africa. And we're making this film for the big screen for audiences to see in your wonderful theaters.
Hey, sorry to bother you, Tom.
Hey, McHugh. Chris McCory.
Hi, everybody. Hey, listen, I hate to interrupt, but, we really gotta roll. We are losing the lights and low on fuel.
Oh, yeah, we gotta roll, huh? Low on fuel, that's not good. I'm sorry, we gotta go.
And action!
We'll see you at the movies.
Hey friends, welcome back to Students Groups. I hope you are having a blast at whatever campus you find yourself at this week. I am so excited about this series we are in right now because it is all about movies. And if you know me well, you'll know that movies are kind of a big deal to me. There's this app, it's called Letterboxd, which is kind of like Spotify, but for movies. And it's a little bit more of a social media platform too. And they give you a year-end wrap, just like Spotify or Apple Music does. And I want to share mine with you just so you can catch a glimpse of just how much I watch movies. And that's almost one movie every single day. I truly believe with all of my being that art, especially movies, are spiritual in nature. God created all of us to also create. And in every movie you watch, God is there to be discovered. And I think that's a really awesome and powerful thing. But of course, I have some favorite movies that I hold very near and dear to my heart. And when I was a student in 8th grade, actually, there was a movie that came out that I could not get enough of. Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. This was the 4th movie in the Mission Impossible franchise, but also kind of a reboot. So I think this might actually have been the first Mission Impossible movie I ever watched, and I would rewatch it over and over and over, and I still do. I've probably made my wife Hannah watch it at least a few times in the 3 years that we've been married. It is cinema. And after that, I became a diehard fan of these movies, obsessively watching and rewatching each one. And I had the opportunity to actually attend a fan event screening in IMAX in 2023, and it was one of the highlights of that year for me. But there is something about the Mission Impossible movies that makes them stand above the rest for me, and it's what they've become known for over the years: the stunts. And guys, I don't know if you've ever watched one of these movies, but it is astounding that people have not died yet making them. Tom Cruise, the main actor in these movies, is putting his life on the line for my entertainment, and I love it so much. It is so much fun. And as I was prepping this message and I knew Mission Impossible was going to be part of it, I honestly had a hard time deciding which crazy stunt to show you. So here's a little compilation video of some of my favorite ones. And yeah, pretty incredible, isn't it? And probably the craziest thing about all of this is that these stunts often require multiple takes. So it's not just fly off the ramp on your motorcycle into an abyss one time. No, that particular stunt required 8 different takes. And one of the stunts I didn't show you is one where Tom Cruise is chasing down one of the bad guys on foot, and he's running really fast. And that's another thing about these movies that makes them special. He runs all the time and runs so fast. But in this scene, he's running and he attempts to jump off of a building and land onto another one. And when he landed on the other side, he actually injured himself. And it is so insane that they actually used the clip of him injuring himself to promote the movie, and they kept that take in the movie. Check this out.
So what you've done is you brought us some footage. I think this is so cool to see this from the different angles.
This is what I
can't watch this. I haven't watched it yet.
Actually, I have to say, most of it's fine. There's one clip, but I will warn you, it's not for the squeamish.
Gross.
So you see, I'm wearing 2 wires. They're basically just safety wires because I go at a full tilt and I'm sprinting as hard as I can, and I hit the side of the wall, and that's the stunt. I hit the side of the wall, and then I'm chasing after Henry, actually. And I hit all his fault. I blame him. I hit the side of the wall, and then I climb up on the wall, and I'm supposed to run past Kevin.
Okay, so we've got, this is the shot from behind you. So this is, you see the speed and the momentum of the run, and it's in London. There we go.
So it's keeping me up.
Okay, so here he goes. Look at that. Whoa, and whoa! Now, it's good noise, everybody. But you get my point that you think, how did you break a leg? So let's look at it from the side. This is it from the side.
Oh, no.
No, this isn't the bad one. This isn't the bad one, Rebecca. So this is from the side. Here we go.
We shot it with 3 cameras.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
here he goes, and boom! Now we've got a camera which focuses on the foot. Now, if you are squeamish, don't watch this.
Simon still hasn't seen it. They keep trying to show it to me, and I'm like, no!
I mean, a bone doesn't pop out or anything, but it is an odd angle for anyone's foot to be at.
Nobody's foot should ever have to do this.
Yeah,
ever.
here we go.
Oh my gosh.
So
I
he
have to
jumps,
watch.
that speed, that momentum. Here we go.
Look at...
And now watch that. Watch this. But here is why Tom Cruise gets paid the big bucks, okay?
Yeah, pretty wild stuff, isn't it? And my favorite thing about all of that sequence is that you can actually see it in the actual film, Mission Impossible Fallout, the 6th one in the series. They kept it in. And there's real danger in these stunts. And it's hard, and sometimes Tom Cruise has to do it again. And maybe he doesn't hit his mark, and maybe he breaks his ankle trying to land the right jump. And friends, if I can be honest with you today, I think some of us are trying to follow Jesus, and it feels a lot like this. We are trying so hard to pull it all off, to hit the right mark, to land the jump, to nail the take, to make the right decision, but it's hard, and we don't, and we go back for take after take, and we can't seem to get it right. And we thought that saying yes to Jesus would suddenly make things easier, but it's not. And 10 metaphorical broken ankles later, we're ready to give up on this thing altogether because it's harder than we thought it was going to be. And we're going to take a look at what Jesus has to say about all this. And he doesn't say that life is going to be super easy and that we're going to get it right in one take. We're going to be hanging out in the book of John tonight. If you're not familiar with the book of John, it is one of 4 biographies about Jesus' life. The last one listed in the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And the book of John is pretty cool because it is believed to have been written by, John, who was one of Jesus' best friends. So he's writing about the things that he saw and heard intimately with Jesus, which I think is a pretty cool thing. And we come to this place in the book of John, chapter 15. We're at a point where Jesus has been talking to his disciples, John included, for a while. In fact, it's been going on for a few chapters now. We actually took a look at John 15 in our last series about how much Jesus loves us. And here, Jesus has some words to say to them about what they might experience in the world as they follow Jesus. Starting in verse 18. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, and that's why the world hates you. Remember what I told you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they obey yours also. They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me. That does not sound like the rosiest picture of what it means to follow Jesus, doesn't it? So you mean this Jesus thing is going to be really hard? My life is already hard enough. I don't need this Jesus thing to make it any harder. And I totally get it. Some of you have been breaking your ankles to try to follow Jesus, thinking that following Jesus means making the perfect landing, but that's not the reality. Because the reality is, you might have friends who think Jesus isn't all that important. Or maybe you have friends who think Jesus is kind of a lame buzzkill who wants to ruin your fun. Maybe you've had harsh words spoken to you because of your faith in Jesus. There were temptations that you thought would go away after you got baptized at camp. They're still there. And you're back into the same rhythms you were before. Maybe you knew you needed to cut off a couple of friendships that were crippling you, but when it came time to have that conversation, it felt monumentally challenging, like riding a motorcycle off a cliff, ankle break after ankle. But that passage from John 15 doesn't just leave us with, this is going to be really hard. Because Jesus gives encouragement to his disciples that when you're feeling those things, when you're feeling like this is hard, know that I felt that too. Jesus is able to empathize with your struggle because he knows what it's like to be mocked, to be tempted, and on it goes. You have a Lord and a Savior who gets you. And I want to leave us with just a few key practices that we can take with us for the time that a big and challenging Mission Impossible level stunt is staring us right in the face. And the first thing is to talk to Jesus about it. Because Jesus gets us, because he knows what it's like to be in our shoes, he's a great outlet for us to talk things through with. It doesn't have to be a big rehearsed prayer. It can be a simple one-sentence cry for help, as Jesus did the same thing himself when he was about to die on the cross. He is in our corner. And the second thing is to ask for help. Hopefully you have a group around you that can come and support you as you navigate the times when following Jesus gets really hard. People who know you, who have your best interests in mind, and who are ideally following Jesus too. And we hope that students groups can be a place where you can find and discover that. And the third thing is to keep going. Jesus shows us that these difficult moments don't have to be the end all be all. We can persevere and our character will grow as a result. And this kind of brings us to our bottom line for the week, which is this: with Jesus, these difficult moments can help our character grow. And we want to give you some time to flesh all this out in small group today. I want to encourage you to get real with those people about the challenges you are experiencing in your faith journey right now and start to put some of this into practice. And now, back to your campus.